Hi everyone, today we're going to use a bunch of my scrap materials to make a cat house for this guy here. Now it's probably actually going to be a cat house for 2 cats, maybe 3 cats, but that's the idea. Now I'm just using scrap material, stuff I got left over from other projects and things like that. But luckily half of the job is already done, because if you look, I've got like this box container here, excuse me. And I've also got this glass that someone was throwing away. Some of this stuff is stuff that I bought for projects, like this wood. Some of it's like scraps that I've scavenged from people, like this glass and stuff. But this box here was actually part of a solar project, like a solar heater type thing. And it never went that well. This was like, yeah, it's pretty old anyway. What I'm thinking is I can just like partition this either into 2 sections or 4 sections and make it into a cat house. In fact, he's already enjoying himself in there. And what I'm thinking is I can use this glass for the top. Now, I don't know if I would keep it glass or maybe put something over the top so it's covered, because they might not like, you know, other cats jumping on top while they're in there or whatever. So not exactly sure, but I'm thinking this glass for the top, and it's pretty strong glass, so I'm not really worried about it breaking. But what I might do anyway is add, you know, one of those frosting films. I might just put that on there, because then if it does break, instead of breaking into a bunch of pieces, the film will keep it all together even if it cracks. So the first thing I need to do is mark out the size I want the glass and then take it to the shop to get it cut. I don't think they'll charge much to have it cut. I've had glass cut before, but that was when I bought the glass from them. Hopefully they don't have a problem with me taking my own glass to get cut. So yeah, let's mark it out, and yeah, it's going to have a glass top. It should be pretty cool. And of course I'll have to cut like some holes in the side for the cats to go in. But yeah, I think it's really going to be quite easy, especially because I've already got like this box frame, which makes the whole thing easier. Because if I had to make this myself, well, I did make this, but if I had to make it today, it's going to take a lot of time. So it's nice that it's already made. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this undersized a little bit, because if I use silicone to hold this on place, I don't want the glass to like go over the edge of the wood, because there might be sharp edges and stuff like that. So I'm going to mark it a little bit undersized, and I'm just going to mark it with a Sharpie pen. I just wipe underneath, because it is quite dusty. This was left outside for quite a while, and then I found it. So let's go ahead and mark this just with a Sharpie pen. Hopefully this will show up. Ah yeah, it is good. And then I'll just, yeah, I'll have to tell them to finish the line, but that's good. Now what I'm wondering is if I can get 2 cuts out of this one glass, but this one's much longer. So I think this bit here will have to be like wood based, because I don't have enough glass to cover the whole thing, but that's okay, it's not a big deal. As long as the majority is glass, then I can see like if the cats are inside. So I'll now take this to the glass shop and get it cut. So I'm back from having the glass cut, and it cost me 30 pesos, which seems a bit expensive, but you know, I don't have the skill to cut glass, I don't have the tools to cut glass, and at the end of the day they have to make money, they have to have a minimum charge. But now the test is to see if the glass actually fits. So let me try and slide these apart. And this is the one that should fit, so let's see. Hopefully my marking was okay, it seems to be. Yeah, not quite perfect, but it's good enough. I was actually hoping to be a little bit more undersized. The thing is, I'm not sure how straight the glass was to start with, because it was just glass that I found somewhere. It's okay, it doesn't overlap the edge, which is what I wanted, but I'm definitely going to have to sand down the edges just to make sure. Now, originally I was planning to use a clear silicone, because I think that would look best. But now I'm thinking I'll just use this Mighty Seal. This is actually for silicone for windscreen and autos, like cars. But since I have like 1 full tube and then 2 half tubes, I thought I might as well use these. You know, they're just laying around and I don't need them anymore. They were for a previous project. So the idea is to basically put a bead all the way around and then put the glass on top, and that will keep it in place. But before we do that, what I have to do, is this glass sharp? No, it's not. So before that, what I have to do is make the partition on the inside and probably cut out the 2 entrances, because I'm thinking there's going to be a partition down the middle. I don't know if it's big enough for 4 cats. I'm trying to imagine, like, if I put it like that, it might just be good enough for 4 cats. Come here. Could you fit in 1/4 of this? What do you think? You probably could, couldn't you, if you were laying down curled up? No, I think it's going to be too tight. So we'll just make it into two like I originally planned. So the idea is to make a divider down the middle and then cut 2 holes out for the entrances and the exits. So after a bit of refinement, I managed to make the center divider fit, and it goes in there quite well. Now this wood is too thin to drill a screw into the side from outside and secure it in place. So what I'm planning instead is to cut little blocks like this. I took these from this scrap here. So little blocks like this, and then I'll screw them in from the outside like this. So it will secure the center piece in place. I'll put 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then the same on the other side, 2 at the top. So all this centerpiece does is slide in between them, and I don't have to secure it any other way with glue or screws. I could, if I wanted, also screw sideways into this, but honestly I don't think it's going to be needed. 2 of these at the top, secured to the outside and at the bottom, that should be good enough. So let me get working on that. So I've cut all my blocks and I've started putting them in place. Well, I've got one in place so far, so that's screwed in nice and solid. So now I have to screw one in this side, and I don't even know if I'll need extra ones at the bottom. We'll see. But what I'm doing is I'm using a clamp to hold it in place like this. Let me try and show you. So I hold it in place like that, and then I'm drilling a pilot hole with this, and then I'm just manually putting in a screw. So it's really simple, but that's the way it should be, right? Because I'm not trying to make a luxury apartment. This is just a basic, 2-bed cat house with skylight. So yeah, let me get to this. And here comes Mr. Black. You can't see him on camera, but he's over there. He's come to inspect my work. Mr. Black, come and inspect. Is it good enough? This is the problem when you're trying to build a property for someone. They always want to get involved and tell you what to do. So yeah. Okay, so that's one more done, and you can see that's going to hold the middle piece in place because like I said, there's no way I could put a screw into this wood because it's too thin. So let me continue and finish the others. So the divider is now in place. I put 2 blocks either side at the top, 2 blocks either side at the bottom, and hopefully you can see here's one set, there's another set on the inside, and technically I could actually slide this out and remove it if I wanted, but the plan is really to keep it in there so it's 2 separate cat houses, or 2 separate bedrooms. So what I need to do now is cut the entrance and exit. So one here for this bedroom, and then one here for this bedroom. And I think the way I'm going to do that is to drill a hole, or first of all draw it out, then drill a hole, and then use a jigsaw. Hopefully I can get my hands on a jigsaw. So yeah, let's get going. So I've cut out one of the entrances, and I'll show you how I did it. Now, I don't know yet if that's the right size, but you'd be surprised that even big cats can get into small holes. So that's the first one. Now let's try this one. First thing I do is drill a big hole so that we can get our jigsaw in here. Now we've got the hole, I can fit my jigsaw in there and start cutting it out. Although it is a little bit difficult because it's quite thick wood, so it puts a lot of stress on the blade. So one thing you must always remember is to wear safety goggles, because if these things snap, they could go pinging off into your eyes, so you do have to be very careful. And there you go, that's our second entrance. Now I might raise this just a little bit. Bear in mind that I just drew these by freehand. It doesn't have to be perfect because, as long as the cat can get in. I think this one's probably a bit better because it's taller. But I'm actually going to test it. I'm going to put the lid on, put some food inside, and then see if Mr. Black can get in there. Then I'll put this over as a lid so Mr. Black doesn't see any way in. Let's see if he can get inside. Come on. So I'll just get a couple of bits like this, and then come on. Can you go in? It's in there. Yes, he can get in there easily. Go on. In. Okay, good. If I had the glass on, I'd be able to see him, which would be pretty cool. No, it's only one cat at a time, I'm afraid. Come on, Mr. Black, out you come. Come out. Let's try the other side. I think the other side might be a bit too tight, but we'll try. Problem is, we've got another contender here now. Mr. Black, come here. Look. Can you get in there? Oh, it's a bit tight. but actually I want it to be a little bit tight because it will distract other cats from going in there. Now that one's that one's going to be a bit too tight, so I'm actually going to, once he's finished, I'll bring him out and I'll cut that a little bit bigger. So I already made a second cut to make this one larger, and now it's time to stick the glass down. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this glass isn't going to cover the whole top section, so I'll actually have a wood strip at the back, but I don't want to cut the wood until I've glued this in place so that I know exactly what size to cut it. So we are going to use this Mighty Seal windscreen silicone, just normal silicone. And one thing I found with this in the past is if you put a little bit of washing up liquid on your fingers, you can then like finesse it without it getting stuck to your fingers. So yeah, hopefully I can get it stuck down. Let's see. This is going to look a little bit messy, I know that, but you know, I didn't want to buy anything. I really didn't want to buy anything because I've got scraps and they're just going to go to waste if I don't use them. So this whole project is about using old stuff. Now the cats are probably going to hate the smell of this to start with, although this one seems to be quite impressed with the smell. What I should have done is rolled this tube as I went along. I've been a little bit wasteful here. Okay, right, let me wash my hands and then we'll put the glass on. So I just checked the camera and realized that I ran out of memory. So I don't know what point it cut off and what you saw. But basically I put the black silicone all the way around the outside, then put the glass on top, and I've been pushing down to try and make good contact. Honestly, it didn't get very good contact. It would probably be better if I had a much thicker bead of silicone around there, or even just double-sided tape. But I think it will at least hold good enough, and that's what this project is, good enough. So I'll let this set and then start working on a piece of wood that I can put here to cover the back side. So I've now screwed on the back panel, that's nice and secure, so the roof is fully installed now. And I've started sanding down everything that they could get a splinter from, or just anything that's a little bit too sharp, like pointy edges, things like that. I'm also going to sand down the glass. It's actually like not sharp anyway, but I am going to sand down the glass edges just to make sure 100% that there's no way anyone could cut themselves or one of the cats. I actually started I screwed this in and used some glue and stuff, connected this here, and I was going to make like a second level. But I don't know if you can tell on video, but it's already getting dark and I want to get this done today because I don't know when I'll A, have the time, and B, have the energy and be inspired to do this again. So I decided to scrap that, let's just finish what we've got. So I'm going to sand everything, and then I think I'm also going to drill lots of holes, but just small holes. Maybe, where's the drill bit? Either this big, I know you can't see this very easily on the camera, but it's about the same size as a pencil. So lots of little holes like that, or maybe slightly bigger ones. The idea is to allow good airflow, but to make sure no cats can put their claws in, because there's a lot of cats that like troll each other and they'll probably try and get their hand in and claw someone that's in there. So lots of air holes, but very small ones. So yeah, we're losing light, so I better get to it. So here it is finally finished, and I have to admit I'm pretty exhausted. This has taken quite a few hours, even though it's a relatively simple project. So we've got the two entrances, and then on the side here, you can see I've drilled like a whole bunch of holes. In fact, I double drilled them, so drilled, sanded, then drilled. That's on the side, and that's on both sides and the back. What I'd really like to do is connect a 5-volt fan, like a computer fan, to both compartments, so there's like a good airflow, but that's not going to be today. You can see my hands are also pretty dirty. So yeah, this is the new cat condo. They've got this huge like skylight window at the top so they can look in, although if I find that they don't really like that, what I'll do is I'll make some kind of cover to go over there, even if it's only fabric. I do need to get like a cushion or other comfortable material to put inside. And yeah, I'm pretty worn out, but it's a success. It's really like quite strong. No complaints about that. It's definitely going to last pretty much forever until I take it apart. I'm glad that I've actually got this panel at the back because it allows like easier access, because I can get my hand in the front, and then if I take off that panel I can get my hand in the back, which was required when I was like sanding down the inside of all the holes I drilled, because there was some tear out on the inside. But yeah, pretty happy with it. I'd like to decorate it, like maybe put a false facade on the front, like to make it look like a castle or something. But yeah, that's more of a pipe dream for the future. For now, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, hopefully, this guy here, can you see him on the camera? I think you can. Hopefully, he'll use at least one of these, because sometimes when he's sleeping, this other cat, like this really bad cat, tries to like attack him when he's sleeping. So this will give him some security. I was thinking about maybe putting like a flapping door on the front, or even just like a fabric, so it gives him kind of an alert when another cat's coming in. But yeah, I think it will help. So I don't know how long it will take before he starts using it, or if he starts using it, but I'm going to throw some food in there now, just get him used to the idea of going in there. Now you probably won't be able to tell on the camera, but it's actually night time, and I've got like a bright light shining over here. So let's get some food, and then which side did he go in earlier? I can't remember, I think this one. So just get him used to the idea of going in there. Go on, in. He was actually hanging out in there earlier, even without any food, so I think he probably will make his home, especially if I put like some comfortable cushion in there or something. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any suggestions or questions, put them in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.